Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Ryan Hagan with Aatrix. Also presenting with us today will be Nisa Rajput, Partner Account Executive with Aatrix. And thanks to everybody for attending. Get ready for year end e-filing with Aatrix. Of course, it's getting to be that time of the year. And with the size of the crowd that we have on hand today, pretty easy to see that this is a topic that's on top of people's minds. So, thanks everybody for attending. I'll go ahead and get us started today, and then I will hand it off to Nisa. So, what are we going to cover today? We'll just briefly touch on about the Aatrix solution. We'll also talk about, why use Aatrix
Ryan, hang
eFile.
tight. We got to admit all these people. Just hang tight. Sorry.
Okay.
You might want to start over, I guess.
So, does ever... Okay. Yeah, so some of the topics we'll cover today are we'll cover a little bit about the Aatrix solution. We'll also, talk about why use Aatrix eFile, benefits of using Aatrix eFile, pricing options and service levels. Definitely want to touch on that. How does it work and how do I get started is also, especially for those new customers, how do you get started is a big one. How do you get enrolled? And we'll definitely touch on all that today. So,
Ryan, maybe let's just hang tight 2 seconds and let the lobby slow down a bit because we have so many people attending.
Okay, so we'll do that. We do have, just so everybody knows, I think we had 1,000 people registered for this, so it's taking maybe just a little bit more time for folks to come in. So that's definitely to be expected. Gary, just let me know when things slow down and we'll go ahead and get started again.
Fine, I think we're good.
All right. I think we're probably good.
Okay. The other part of this too, we'll do, there is Q&A as well, so.
Yeah. Maybe let people know that we'll send out a copy of the presentation as well as a video of today's webinar, and then we'll try and get through as many questions as we can. Go ahead and add any questions you might have to the Q&A, and like I said, we'll answer as many as we can, and those that we can't, we will reach out to you directly afterwards.
Okay. So go ahead and just a little bit about Aatrix. What Aatrix specializes in payroll reporting. So, W-2s, 1099s, ACAs, but we also do a lot of quarterlies as well. But we're going to focus on, with this particular presentation, we'll definitely focus on, W-2s and those year-end processes. So support over 300,000 businesses in the U.S., millions of W-2s, 1099s, ACAs filed annually. And customers that use Aatrix, tend to use us again. 97% of our customers would recommend the Aatrix solution to others. Why do customers use Aatrix? Of course, probably the main reason is the process, and it's a seamless process, of course, from whatever accounting solution or payroll solution that you might be using. So, what we pride ourselves in is making sure that when you select that W-2, that it's a seamless filing process from, double checking the information, also to, transmitting that information directly to our eFile center, where we can do the processing for you. So one process, no matter what form that you're filing is a big part of this. Of course, we have a complete support staff to handle any questions that you have about your filing, phone, email, chat, whatever it might be. So any of those, getting started questions, post filing questions, we're there to assist. Also, one website. So as Nisa will point out later, the enrollment process, especially for year end, is going to be extremely easy for those that haven't enrolled already. Again, for those that have enrolled with Aatrix, no need to, unless you have a new entity that you're setting up, no need to enroll again if you filed with us. But again, it's one website, it's one enrollment, and that will the enrollment site or the website, your eFile account, that'll contain all histories and statuses of your filings as well. So if you need to check that information, it's all in your eFile account. We talked a little bit about no complex file formats. So move on to error checking. Another big piece of the Aatrix pie is that all the error checks that we do to make sure that when that filing is transmitted to us, that there's as little chance as possible of an error. So all told, with all of our processes, we do roughly about 1,800 error checks. Again, just to make sure to do our best that we're double checking things and allowing our customer, of course, to double check and triple check things during our process as well. Of course, we make sure that all forms are up to date, that you have the latest and greatest forms when you're filing with us. So we have an entire staff, of course, that works with that. And then security. Security is a huge part of what we do. Dealing with the personal information, the PII that we deal with. So we go through a number of different audits and intrusion testing to make sure that our processes are completely up to speed and your data is secure when sending it to Aatrix. We are, by the way, we're a SOC 2 Type 2 organization as well. What is your time worth? I thought it was worth our time to spend just a moment. We do estimates every year on what would cost you if you're going to do this filing in-house. If you're going to, kind of do the old-fashioned, if you're going to buy the forms, if you're going to, stuff the forms, postage, basically labor, everything that goes into that. So the information that we have in front of us right now, and when we adjust this every year, the information that we have in front of us right now is if you're filing 100 W-2s and 20 1099s, which are pretty common filings, pretty common numbers for our customers. And the estimate that we have for this year, as far as cost per form, would be $8.26. So that's something to think about as well. A lot of times when we're looking at costs, we're kind of just looking at, maybe not we kind of miss the labor part of it just a little bit, and don't include everything that's part of filing these year-end forms. So $8.26 is what we come up with as far as the cost to file in-house this year. And you're going to see, and just when Nisa shows you in this next slide, what the Aatrix costs will be. Of course, it's going to vary just a little bit by whatever accounting or payroll software you're working with. But I'll let Nisa take it from here. Nisa, go ahead.
Thanks, Ryan. Welcome, everyone. We're excited to see so many of you, getting ready for your year-end filing with Aatrix. So as Ryan mentioned, I will be sharing a little bit about the pricing, some of the form options we have, and then also dive in a little deeper on completing a W-2 form with any of your respective partner softwares we are integrated with. So today, as you can see on our page here, we have a number of services that we provide our customers through your payroll solution or accounting solution. And what I want to recommend and also let you know what's the most popular service of our e-filing services is the complete service. So we have a range here from $2.50 to about $3.50 per employee or recipient. And that's because we have a number of yous representing different partner software. So your prices will be according to that set amount of the solution. With that, the complete service offers 4 main tasks. Aatrix will do that printing and mailing for you. So as Ryan mentioned, instead of wasting time spending more money processing it for about $8.26, Aatrix will do that printing and mailing for you. We will even give you the option of a PDF copy that is hosted online within your Aatrix account that I will also show you after the demo of where that is located. Of course, we do file for all 50 states and to the IRS as well. So I highly recommend if you're new to Aatrix and don't want to take on the burden of printing and mailing and trying to line up the forms to the printer, definitely take a look at that complete service because it will definitely relieve your stress, give you that peace of mind that it is being submitted in the accepted federal or state format. With that, we do also have the other services that are available on our website. In addition to year-end W-2, the 1099, and of course the 1095 filing, we also do offer other payroll report options. This includes all the quarterlies, the 940s, the 941s, unemployment, withholding, new hires, and of course, associate payments. Now, we as Aatrix are consistently updating these forms. The more and more the forms are becoming popular within the state or the federal side, we are adding them to our list and providing them to the customer to eFile. With that being said, we do also have bundles that you could apply to your account that will help you save some money throughout filing those quarterly unemployment, withholding, and payments forms. As you can see here, Aatrix has offered a number of packages here. Depending on the number of employees within your company, we will offer an unlimited filing for those forms, except the W-2s, the 1099s, and the 1095s. Those are separate, and you do pay for those at the time of filing with your credit card. But if you are a company that maybe files payroll bi-weekly, monthly, quarterly, and you're not just doing a 940 or 941, but you're maybe doing some withholding, some state forms as well, unemployment or new hires, that tends to add up quite a lot. And so as you can see here, if you're maybe a company with 100 employees, for a 12-month subscription, $479 will cover all of those reports, and you can file as many times within that 12-month from the date of purchase. So we do have those options available if you haven't taken advantage of that yet, and maybe you are still printing and mailing. Now might be a great time to take a look at those options. Again, having that peace of mind and the security and the compliance to back that up and make sure that those are being submitted in the correct manner. With that, how does it work? So ultimately, let's jump into our demo here. Within your respective payroll or accounting solution, you will have a form selector. And from that forms list, you will notice there will be the W-2s, the 1099s, the 1095s, or if you're selecting, your 940s or quarterly report, any of that list. You would select the form, and then you would start the process by completing the wizard setup. With that wizard setup, if you are new to Aatrix, or even maybe you just need a refresher, we understand that you guys do this once a year, so sometimes you tend to forget things. With that, we do have a test drive. So with your information, you can use up to 25 of your employees or recipients, or you could use all of your information. And you can run through the process in test mode without having to commit to, of course, paying and, of course, getting hands-on familiarity with the process come time to e-filing the actual form. In this case, I'm going to say no, and I'm going to choose to move forward so we can show you what the process looks like today from start to finish. With that, the first point is for you to verify your EIN. This is very important. For those of you who do have multiple EINs, you want to make sure you're selecting the right EIN that you're filing for, because this information is coming from your solution for that EIN. So please verify and validate that the EIN you're filing for is correct. Now, for those companies that maybe have payroll information in different databases, we do have a merge option. So for those of you who maybe have some C-suite, payroll information on one hand, and other staff information on another, you can bring those together and merge them into a document and can be transmitted seamlessly through this process where you can file for all of those under that one EIN. So if you do, you want to say yes, and it'll take you to the next steps of merging that information and getting that situated within the process for us to validate and file. In this case, I have none, so I'm just going to say no. The company information, again, as you can see, all its information is seamlessly transferring over from your solution. It's all ready for you to just double check, verify, and move on. Now it's going to ask what sort of tax preparer type you are. Personally, if you're a company that's just filing for yourself, you would select yourself as a filing for my own company. But we also do have maybe some folks here on the call today that have CPA firms, or maybe they're filing as a third party. If you do, you would be selecting that portion and continuing to the next steps of providing that preparer information. For today's demo, I'll just select myself as individual and move forward. Now we're going to the state and tax items. This is very important because countless of times we do see a lot of our customers having the file ready with information, but maybe the formatting for the account numbers or state IDs tends to be incorrect, which thus then causes a rejection in your filing. So to minimize that, as Ryan mentioned, Aatrix runs a number of errors and validation checks in the background. Whilst Aatrix cannot validate if the numbers are correct, you would definitely want to go back and check that, these numbers are indeed the right numbers. But what Aatrix will do is we will validate that the format that you need to send it to the IRS or to the state agency is correct. If you do find that there was a mistake and there was supposed to be a 9 instead of an 8, of course you can go in, edit the state ID, save it, and then move forward. If that does tend to happen, we do recommend you do go back into your mains payroll solution, into your database, and make those updated changes there as well. With that, I don't have any state or local tax information, but if you do, again, the same process applies. Make sure you're validating and checking those numbers are correct. With that, with the W-2, it does ask if your employees are part of Medicare, Social Security, if they're part of a clergy, or if they do need control numbers. Of course, you would want to select those that apply. Lastly, I want to bring up that there is an option to also get W-2 forms electronically sent to the employees. If the employees are opting in for this option, then of course you can say yes. And within the process, you will have an option then to choose those employees who are electing to receive it electronically instead of paper to get a secure link and access that electronically. For this case, I don't, so I'm just going to move on and say next. With the W-3 information, you want to select all the boxes that do apply. I will be selecting the 941, but if you do have information, if you do have employees that are on third-party sick pay or have any other instances with other EINs, you can definitely fill that information. I don't, so that information do not transfer over. With that, as far as the employee's social security numbers go, you have options to truncate them. If you'd like to leave them completely full, you can do so, but we do have the asterisks and we do have the X's available. Notice that these numbers will show the full number until it's processed. But as we do send them over and transmit that information to the agencies, they will be in the format that you have chosen. With that, now that the wizard is complete, we have taken that information and we are now processing in that to the preparer, where ultimately you will have a chance to now make your last minute edits and review and validate that this information is correct. So in a moment here, we will notice a spreadsheet-like format that you can make your edits and check your information. So here on the left-hand side, as you can see, we have all of that employee information seamlessly transfer over here. This is if you can move around, this is where all that information, if you did select that via the wizard, that'll all be picked out in there. On the right-hand side, we do have the federal wage box. So this is all that information. Now, this acts like a spreadsheet. So if you did notice that you may have left off some employee information, you can definitely right-click on it and replace or add rows, remove rows. This is fully editable. But just understand that if you do make edits here, you do need to go back into your payroll or accounting solution and update that information there. With that, if you do have any questions about some of the information that populates here, we do have some helpful tips and of course FAQs right at the top here that will definitely guide you into making the right decision in moving forward in terms of checking your information. Once that's been complete, we will now go through an error checking process. And by that, we will be verifying some employee information, additional employee information that we had checked through the wizard if that was selected, the federal information, some state information, and lastly, some unassigned columns. So as Ryan mentioned, the 1800 checks, we are validating that the formatting is correct. If for any reason that you notice that some of this information, for example, a social security number cannot start with the number 9. If that was in place, the solution will not let you move forward because that is a vital error. You do have to go in and make those changes at that time. However, we do have some soft errors in the background that will populate and notify you that you might be a couple of cents off for one of the wage boxes for a certain employee. If that is a soft error for you, you can move forward, but we will still let you know that this is off by a couple of cents and fractions. If you want to go in and make those edits, please go ahead and do so. With that, I don't have any errors. I can double check that this information is correct. I know that this information is correct, so I'm going to agree and move forward. With that, this is the level at which you will be selecting your service. So as we've mentioned, we want to go for the complete service. It does default with that option. It will give you your price. Now, of course, this is a demo, so pricing is subject to whichever solution you're using. It'll tell you, excuse me, it will tell you what is going to be included in that service. And once you select next, you do have the option of purchasing for an additional cost, a PDF archive. What's a PDF archive? So maybe there's some of you that have maybe monthly or quarterly or yearly audits, and you'd like to have this information stored securely with you. You have the option of purchasing this PDF archive. What it is we will send you a USB with your entire file that you can securely access with your username and your password. And if you don't want that, maybe today, and you call us maybe a couple weeks or even months after the filing has made, and you decided that you do want it, please give us a call at sales and we'll be able to assist you and get you that PDF copy via USB or by electronic drop file on your desktop. With that, it is letting us know that we are currently only filing for the state of Idaho. Now, for those of you who are filing for multiple states, I highly recommend you keep every state selected. There's no need to deselect the state. As it is, you are paying for the complete service, and Aatrix does file for all 50 states. There have been some instances where customers deselect states and then forget to come back and file for those states and end up costing some fines and penalties because they were late in filing. So just a note to keep them selected and move forward. With that, we have the review data. You can take a screenshot of this maybe before you're filing if it makes you more comfortable, but this is just letting you know that this is what is going to be presented as a complete replica prior to e-filing to the state and federal agencies. The only copies here that you will not see are the employee W-2 copies. So with that, I'll say next. All right, perfect. So as you can see here, guys, we have the complete replicas of all this information that's seamlessly transferred over right onto the form. So at the top here, it'll tell you what form it is that you're viewing at this time. And if there are multiple pages, you can kind of scroll over and just verify that this information transferred over. After that, you want to click on the next step. It does give you an option to print and keep statement copies. In this case, I'm not going to, but if that's what you wish to do, you can do so. With that, the next form we were about to see is the federal W-2. Again, everything transferred over seamlessly, and granted your information is correct within your payroll or accounting software, this is going to be a breeze for you guys. It was just because I was talking, it was taking much longer, but if all your information is correct, you will notice that this will save you a ton of time just processing right through, validating and making sure that this information is all correct. The next form that we're going to hit is the Idaho W-2. Again, multiple pages at top if you want to go ahead and view those. Printing is an option. All right. Now over here, I've actually deliberately added an error. So part of those error checks that Ryan was talking about, it's showing me that my Idaho reconciliation form did not have information filled in within my solution, and so it did not transfer over. Therefore, I do need to select this information and make sure it's filled in. So we can see two types of boxes on this form. We do see that there's the red boxes and we see some blue boxes. This also applies to some people who might be filing their quarterlies or unemployment or withholding, kind of a similar setup where the blue boxes are editable. So you can go ahead and make those changes again on the fly. And if you do, make sure to go back within your software and make those changes permanently. The red boxes are boxes that will absolutely not let you pass through until they are filled. So we want to make sure we are filling in the right information and tallying up any taxes that were left unaccounted for. It's asking if I have any 1099s with this, and I don't. So looks like there was only one page, and there was that page that I just needed to fill. Everything is now blue again, so I should be able to move ahead. You can go ahead and double check. I know everything is going to be perfect. So now my file is now ready to connect to Aatrix, right? And prior to that, prior to e-filing with us here at Aatrix, we do require that all of our customers create a username and a password. Some of you on this call might be returning as valuable customers, so you might already have this already set up. And for those customers that are new with us, if you haven't already created an account, you might want to go ahead and do that prior to that. It just makes it easier so you're not breaking your flow of process. But if you haven't, not a big problem. You can visit our efile.aatrix.com website here and go in, create a password, and then, of course, log in. All right, now that I've put in my username and my password, it's accepted that my file has come from that EIN. This information is now matching up. The file is being prepared to send over to our Aatrix eFile center. It's going to ask us a couple of questions in just, again, verifying that this information is correct for what we are submitting. So we want to go ahead and validate that. This submission warning you will not get because I'm in test mode. It's just letting me know that. So it will make sure that you are not in test mode when you are e-filing for the actual form. Now, for those of you who are brand new with Aatrix, using Aatrix for the first time through your respective accounting or payroll solution, we have a 20% off on our eFile packages. Granted, you file and use the W-2 complete service. With that, you can purchase that right through the software. And if you haven't decided to do that and you're brand new with Aatrix, already filed a W-2 complete, give us a call and we can help you get set up with that through the software as well. So in that case, I don't. So I'm just going to go ahead and say, nope, don't need that right now. Move along in the process. It's just letting me know this is how much I have to pay for my W-2. And then, of course, it's going to ask me, when would I like these forms to be submitted? Now, Aatrix works pretty fast. If a date for submission has not been selected, we typically mail out the next business day. Now, our 2025 forms are not yet open, so you won't see the drop down here, but within your product, as a customer, you will see there's going to be a drop down box next to these statements. With that, you will have the option of selecting dates for when you'd want your mail copies to go out, when you want your federal copies to go out, so choose accordingly. However, I do want to mention the closer you get to the Aatrix deadlines, we will talk a little bit about this. Our deadlines are different from the federal and state agencies. So I highly recommend you take a look at our e-filing due dates so that you're not confused with January 31st being the day for when you need these forms submitted by. Ours is a little different. So if you do come closer to our deadlines, you will not have an option to make a choice of when you need to mail these in. We will then choose the closest date for us to guarantee that we will be able to mail it and submit these forms at the time, since we deal with hundreds and thousands of filers a day. So just keep that in mind when selecting your dates and when processing your files. As you can see, it does let us know that it's January 31st. This is a demo, so it'll kind of give you a similar notice with the dates there. All right, with that, all the W-2s, all the 1099s, all the 1095s, those are all services that you pay for at the time of filing. So I'm going to go ahead and put my credit card information in there. And then, of course, this is the confirmation page. This is just letting us know that we are filing for this EIN with this amount of money and for the details that you see on the screen. Now, this does not mean that we have received your file. All right, there is a submit button right here. Highly recommend you select that submit button. Once you hit that submit button, you will get two notices. One is an email confirmation with a unique 7-digit AFID number. I'm going to repeat myself on this. If you do not get an AFID number, that means A, we have not received your file, and B, Aatrix cannot transmit that file for you to the agency. So that number is very important after every filing you make, that you get that AFID number. And if you have any like IT issues or whatnot, give us a call if that was something that you submitted and you didn't. Let us know. But without that AFID number, we cannot associate the file to transmit over to the agency for whichever form. All right. With that, I'm just going to jump right back into my presentation here. Okay. All right. So I showed you guys how it works. All right, so how do you get started? For those of us who are new on this call today, I highly recommend enrolling prior to e-filing with us at Aatrix here. And then of course, choosing that complete service to like save your time and money. And then of course, thank you to our customers that are coming back and continuously using us, with your solution. If you haven't taken advantage of the complete service and you guys are maybe still doing your in-house print and mail or just e-filing federal and state, now might be a great option and a great opportunity to choose that complete service and save more money. We've shown you what your time is worth in-house versus using Aatrix. It's kind of a no-brainer. But if you have any questions, definitely reach out to us. Here's some information for sales and for support. We have chats available as well. With that, I'll show you one more section where you can log into your Aatrix account after creating your username and password. So that one website that Ryan talked about, as you can see on the homepage, we do have just some quick links. So maybe those of you who are looking for maybe W-9 information, you can request that right here. Changing of any passwords or security information right up there. As far as your company setup goes, if you are someone that has multiple EINs, the answer is yes, you can keep one account. You can easily enroll your main preparer EIN, and then of course come into the companies tab and add new, therefore keeping one username and password for each company, as you can see on this list here. If you are looking to add multiple users, unfortunately, you wouldn't be able to do that in one account. However, you can take that same EIN and enroll it again and have maybe accounting separate from payroll if that's what you may be looking to do, and keep your users separate at that point. So that is an option as well. But once I select the company that I'm filing for, as you can see here, if any of you are exempt from sales tax, please go ahead and send us your tax exempt forms so that we can put that on file, and so you're not charged sales tax at the time of filing. For those of you who are looking to use Aatrix on the 940s, 941s, maybe 943s, any 94X series forms, does not include W-2s, 1099s, 1085s, go ahead and print out this eFile authorization form if you haven't done already. We do need that on file prior to filing all the 94X series forms. As you can see here, company information with the enrollment has been already added. And if you're looking to do payments with Aatrix using the EFTPS coupons, doing any state payments or federal payments, you can set up your bank information here, as we are facilitated through the ACH. So you would select Aatrix to make that payment for you within the process, and the agencies will be the ones withdrawing that amount from your account at the chosen time. If you have some state filings, of course, you can select your state, make sure to get that set up. Some states do require some unique passwords and PIN codes. If you're unfamiliar about it, select your state. There's a nice information bubble here that will kind of give you all the steps that you would need to take in order to get that set up as well. The inbox tab is also crucial. So like I mentioned, after submitting your form, you do get an email with that confirmation. You get it to your personal email, and of course the email address that was on file, and of course in your Aatrix administration. As you can see here, that AFID number, that's what I was talking about. That's what we know that Aatrix has received your file. And of course, you can always reference with any questions that you may have after the filing process with this number to our support or to our sales, and we can assist you with the questions that you may have. The filing tabs is going to probably be your best friend within this process. So as you can see, like we filed a number of forms here, but since I did the W-2, I'm going to bring that up here and just show you a little information about this. So because I ran a test mode, I won't have real-time data. However, on your end, you will be able to see real-time information, whether that is in process, whether it's been accepted, or whether it's been rejected. At that point, if any of your files have been rejected for any reason, Aatrix will notify you, and we will also give you step-by-step instruction on how you can verify that, and then of course submit a correction right through the software again. So it's nice to know that you have within that time frame of knowing early enough where you need to apply and of course send that correction, whereas if you are doing it in-house, that may take a little longer and cause delays. So it's nice to use Aatrix that will also show you and give you advice on how to make those amendments. Lastly, I also want to kind of give you these filing actions here. If you do see that the icons are highlighted, there is a chance for you to go back and of course delete the filing if you've noticed that you might have forgotten any information on that within that filing process. Now, if it's grayed out, there's a chance that that has already been processed. However, I highly recommend that you still reach out to our support or to our eFile center to maybe delay or stop the processing, depending on how quick you have realized these mistakes, so that we can assist you in resubmitting the correct file to send over to the state and the federal agency. With that, the year-end manager is a really nice feature. For those of you who are filing our complete service, you'll see this is highly beneficial to you and your firm if you haven't already used us. So maybe some of your employees have called and they've mentioned that they haven't received their W-2 yet. Well, that's not a problem. You can easily jump into your administration, access the employee's information with their social security number or their, oops, I might have forgot one. It's hard to talk and type at the same time, I've realized. All right, so, oh, I did that wrong again. One moment. All right, let's just choose someone else here. Okay, awesome, there you go. So, Arden had mentioned that he did not receive his W-2. So you can log into your year-end manager and check that status for Arden's W-2. So as you can see here, of course, it's a test, so it's going to say pending. But you will have live tracking system because we are connected with USPS. We will give you live tracking information from when it's left from the printing, from the mailing facility, right through where it's traveling from state to state to get to Arden's home address here in North Carolina. So you can give them that update that it is on the way. Now, as we know, employees are notorious for maybe not updating their addresses in time with the company, so with their employer. However, if that employee has updated their change of with their address with the USPS change of address, and they haven't updated you guys about it, like I said, we do work closely with it, and so we are able to work in the system of knowing that that address was changed and updated, and so we would then reroute that W-2 copy to the correct address if they've made those changes directly with USPS National Change. If they haven't, unfortunately, then it does get returned back to the sender. So you want to make sure that this information is, of course, again, validated and verified with their employee, that their addresses on file are correct prior to filing. Another nice feature is that in the essence that, of course, the mail copy hasn't reached them yet, they do have access, to their electronic version where they can receive a secure link, and they can access it and of course get their W-2s that way. And we also do have the digital PDF W-2 copy right here for reference as well. So that complete service, the reason why it's mostly recommended and very popular with our customers within all our different partner softwares is because this is kind of the feature that we were talking about that benefits everyone, your employees and yourself, in preventing those delays, those fines, and then just constantly having anxiety, like, has it reached it? Did it go to the right address? Well, now that can all be alleviated with the simple process of just selecting that complete service and making sure that you stay on top of it within your process of validating the information is correct. With that, I just want to mention one last thing on this administration is the help section. So for those of you who are coming back or new, I don't know if you guys know this, but we have a number of ways that you can reach out to Aatrix, like Ryan mentioned. There's the phone, the email, and of course, chat. So we do have our support line here. We have our sales number there. If you don't want to talk to us on the phone and maybe have like a number of questions, definitely give us an email with your EIN or that specific AFID. Write to us. For any tier 1 support or tier 1 sales questions, definitely reach out to us via chat. So Windows is our Windows support. Sales is, of course, sales. And this AFID chat is in that example I gave you. Hey, I need my filing to be resubmitted. I can't delete that online. Is there a way to stop the federal, form from going through those kinds of questions, you can reach out specifically for that AFID number or that filing you get. And if we need to transfer you over to any other department, we can do that right through this chat. So take advantage of these, communications. But even before that, we do have an amazing knowledge base. So if you have any questions, we have a lot of the answers because we've worked in this industry for quite some time. So a lot of these questions and concerns come up multiple times of the same for most customers. So we have already created this knowledge base. So take a look, go through that, and see if that can help you, prior to maybe connecting with us on one of these 3 avenues. I will say that during busy season, it can get busy. And so if you can find that on the knowledge base, I highly recommend you do that. Lastly, here are our e-filing deadlines that has been updated, as you can see here. Our dates are set for January 30th before 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. I just want to again make that clear. We are in the Central Time Zone, so we do we do need those files before that time. Take a look at this, go into your calendar section here, set those reminders and those deadlines, just so it keeps you notified and you're not in the hustle and bustle of things. We understand your end is pretty intense. You want to make sure that those are there for you and you have the right mindset and framework to get this submitted to us in a timely manner, and not even having any issues. With that, I will leave it up to maybe some questions. I'll leave this contact information up here one more time. Back to you, Ryan. Thank you.
Thank you, Nisa. So we have had a lot of questions come in, no doubt about that. We're trying to answer as many as we can. Some of these are going to be more support type questions, and so for some of those, you'll probably just have to contact our support team. I think Nisa, you can go to Aatrix.com, or Nisa, I guess the support information is right on screen for us. Do we have that? Yeah, help me at Aatrix.com is great. Support number is 701-746-6814, or chat also. So if you go to the Aatrix homepage, www.aatrix.com, under the help menu, you'll see all the support options there. So some of these questions are going to end up to be more of a support situation. So Renee asked about doctors as recipients. The title of the doctor was causing some issues. So again, yeah, Renee, that would be a support issue. They would be able to help, or they would be the best people to answer that question. 1099s, a lot of questions about 1099s and processing 1099s. With the time that we had today, we can't go through a 1099 process or demo. But what you will find with the 1099s is that the process to file a 1099 is basically the same as the W-2. You select the 1099 in your product, whatever accounting solution that you're working with. Going to bring the information up on screen just as we do the W-2, and then it's just a submission to Aatrix for the filing. So really, if you know where the 1099 option is within your accounting product, it's really just a matter of choosing that, and the process is the same. It's part of that one process with Aatrix. If you're filing a W-2, a 1099 ACA, or even if you're filing quarterlies, process is basically about the same. Robert asked about processing 1099 MIS and 1099 NEC together. They are actually separate filings. We have to file those separately, so there isn't a way to process those together. They would be separate filings. So you'd you go to the 1099 MIS within your product, process that, and then go back and do the 1099 NEC after that, or vice versa. A lot of questions too about big beautiful bill and information needed for that for this year's filing. Pretty much all the information. There really isn't any changes in the W-2 form for the big beautiful bill this year. Those would really go into effect for 2026 filings. So those types of things would not apply for this 2025 filing season.
There was a question about
Maybe you
if
want
we
to cover
sent to Puerto
deadlines.
Rico.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Nisa.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say if you had a question if we sent to Puerto Rico. Answer is we do not support Puerto Rico at this time.
That is correct. Change from the fire to Iris. The good part about it that when you're using Aatrix to file those you won't have to worry about the Iris or the fire system or whatever system the government is using for those filings. That's one of the nice parts about using Aatrix, is that we're going to file it whatever way that it needs to be filed on your behalf. So no need to go get a TCC or any or register with the federal government for those filings. Aatrix will do that for you, or does it? We do it with our account essentially.
Let's touch on deadlines for this year. I know the deadline is February 2nd, is the federal deadline. So to guarantee your filings to be on time, we require 3 business days prior to for the complete service. So that would more than likely be like the 28th of January. However, I can't promise it, but usually we do extend the deadline. But certainly look at the website for any deadline extensions on submitting your files to guarantee processing.
Nisa, do you have access to that where you can you bring up the deadline, or just let's show folks? I think the deadlines are extremely important, and it's nice to have those, nice to have that bookmark. So this was just on so www.aatrix.com under the, which menu is it again?
So depends on the partner, but if you just go to aatrix.com here, and I can show you how to get there. Oops. Apologies, I need to move this around. So if you go to our website and just on our home page, under the Solutions tab, you will see eFile deadlines. And they're right there.
Great. Yeah. So just on our main website, www.aatrix.com, solutions, and then we'll show you a list of when those deadlines are, so you can have the information when Aatrix needs to have that information to us to make sure that it's filed timely for you. Are we seeing anything else that stands out here?
Can we get PDF copies for 940s and 941s? Unfortunately, that is only available for year-end W-2s, 1099s, and 1095s.
What I would do with that, though, there is you can contact our support team, and maybe they're maybe they can assist with that. So if you contact them, again, phone, chat, email, and you need a copy of a 940, or maybe maybe you need one for an audit or whatever it might be. There's also a history file. We should remember that there's a history file that we have within, so it'll be within your accounting software. So if you filed that with Aatrix, you'll have a copy of that within your history file, and you can also contact our support team to see if they might be able to help you with that.
Let's see here.
940, 941s. Can we file those with Aatrix? Yes, absolutely. Well, if you're using one of our integrated partners, which I would think that the majority of you are, yes, 940s, 941s are part of that product as well. I think that pretty much covers it.
One quick question, is the return to sender our company or Aatrix?
Yeah, great question. It is your company. So when we're mailing those, the return, if it is returned because of whatever, it'll go back to the employer. So you'll be able to either remail, resubmit that through the filing service, or provide that W-2 in another sort of way. So yes, it'll go back to the employer.
I know there's some questions about corrections. Yes, if you made the original correction, if you made the original filing through Aatrix, we do charge a minimum if that file was rejected for a correction starting at $18.99 within your product.
Yeah, so corrections definitely can be done through Aatrix, both for W-2s and 1099s. There was a question about the Oregon Metro and Multnomah local taxes for year end. I don't believe that those have been
Yep,
added.
I already asked that. I already answered the question.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Andrea said yes. Those will be
Well, they have been added?
in the release in December.
Nice.
Awesome. It's awesome. Okay.
Just on user information, there's some questions on can your information be changed? Yes, usernames cannot be changed, but the passwords, of course, can be reset. So if you have any issues with that, or you can go to efile.aatrix.com and just say reset password, and it'll help you out there too.
Maybe there's a couple questions about the e-delivery. I know we made some improvements to the electronic delivery for W-2s, and I don't know if we want to take that offline and answer those questions, or if you guys have able to answer that.
Yeah, I think we should probably take that one offline. Our support team would be able to answer that. I don't know right off the top exactly what changes, if any, have been made for e-delivery. So I don't want
I know changes were made to improve the process.
Sure.
I'm just not 100% sure what changes were made.
If we need multiple,
Also,
okay, go ahead.
Go ahead. Nope. Go ahead.
No, it's fine.
I was going to say there were some questions about Canadian filing. Depending on the solution you're using, if it's a Sage 100, couple of others, we do have the Canadian T4, T5, and the RO5, I think, report that is available. So it just depends on the solution you're using and if that has been added to that forms list.
Okay. All right. Well, we're pretty much at time. So thank you everyone for attending today. We appreciate it. I mean, you were part of the largest webcast that Aatrix has ever presented. So thank you again for everybody attending. We appreciate it. Again, keep those email addresses in mind, for sales and support, and also, chat and also telephone numbers. So if you have any questions, we're here to help. So just let us know. With that, thank you. Thank you again, and happy e-filing to everybody. Have a great year end.
Awesome.